All right, let's see if we can, yeah, I think picture's good. Should be good to start here. Let's see if we can get this fired up here in just a quick minute. Yeah. Yeah. All right. See if we can wait in just a quick minute here. Looks like I got everything set up right. All right. All right. Well, if you're on and the audio is good, let me know and I'll get started. All right, try to knock this out here. All right, brother. Thanks, Skip. I appreciate that, man. Guess we are good to go. Guess we're picture's good. Audio's good. So, all right, cool. All right, this is an 800 CFM carburetor. I've had it for quite a few years. I loaned it to somebody here recently, and they used it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, something like that. And they complained of a few things with it, and I'm going to use it here fairly soon on something of mine. So I figured I'd just go ahead and break it down. And I don't know that it's ever been rebuilt, so I guess we'll have to play with it. Should be fairly dry. It's been off the car, I think, probably about 6 months now, so should be good. But I want to make sure it's good. I'm going to change the rods, or excuse me, rods and jets. I'm still thinking Edelbrock carburetor. I'm going to change the jets in it, probably the power valves. Have to guess on the power valve because I'm not sure what that new engine for the Chevelle is going to do. See if we can break her apart here without. Like I said, it's been on there for a while, so. But yeah, like I said, it's going on the Chevelle, I think, here, and give it a shot. Tap here. So anyway, I always hate using a screwdriver on those because I don't want to dig into the gasket material. You can tell it's had ethanol in it. I don't know if you can see that in there or not. You can tell where I wiped away, but it is definitely suffering a little bit from the ethanol. But that's what it does. You see that? So, I mean, it's not that bad. It wipes right off, so it hasn't really gotten into the material at all. So, looks like the floats are set pretty close to right. Let's see what jets were in there. Screwdriver. But anyway, the reason why we're doing this is, like I said, I'm going to try this out on the Chevelle. Ooh, wow, it's 71s in it. Like I said, this is an $800 pumper. I think typically that's a 69 or 70, so maybe we change the jets in it. I don't know how much he tuned on it, so we'll call that good. But anyway, we're gonna, like I said, see what the how this thing looks. Like I said, I really don't like using a screwdriver here, but I may have to just to said, I'm fairly sure that this thing has never been torn apart. So let's see here. Well, it's definitely been on there a while. But you just have to be very careful not to ruin the gasket mounting surface there. And on the wall side, you don't want to rip it off there. That's in good shape. You usually gall up just a little bit of the... Now I think those are... I don't know what came in that S-Series carburetor. So these may have been rebuilt before. I don't recall doing it, but you can tell. I don't know if you can see that or not. See how I rub that away and it's shiny? That's the ethanol. Let me get some light on there. That is the ethanol that's just started to attach itself to it. And most fuels are that way. They're dirty and a little ugly, so that's good. We're going to clean it up anyway. So anyway, I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. Mine was good. Get that power valve out of there. And it's a 6.5, so it's the biggest power valve I got. So I don't know. I think this one's been into before. Well, obviously it's been into to change the jets on it and maybe the power valve. We'll see what the base gasket looks like. Usually that's a good indication if it's been into before. So anyway, a couple of things here. I can see one thing this carburetor had is, I don't know if you can see that or not, but that linkage is bent over. So it's either been dropped here since I've had it, which I don't think that's the case, or in transportation between a couple of us. And I'm not really, he's a good friend, and I doubt he would have done anything to it on purpose, but yeah, she's a little loose. So that, and then it sticks. That secondary sticks, like I'm releasing it and it's just snapping. It should snap automatically back with the tension of that spring. But so when it was dropped, it's gotten in there, but we'll fix all that as well. But anyway, this is an older 800. It doesn't have the adjustable bleeds in it. Air bleeds in it, which I don't really like, but for a street carburetor, I don't know that it's really necessary. I just happen to like them because we've talked about this a million times on carburetors. Any other adjustable or tuning point you can put on these things, the better off you'll be. So without having a way to control the airflow into the metering block, kind of sucks, but it's okay. Like I said, the Chevelle's not going to be this massive, crazy, street rod or drag race car, I guess is a better way of putting that. But yeah, it's always nice to have that little adjustability in it. So one thing, I don't know if you can see that or not. Y'all see that sticker right there? Pri Road Tour. I just threw that on the box the other day. And last week, well, maybe a week before Thanksgiving, the folks from PRI were here in town. And if you don't know what PRI is, I'm sure that you've probably heard of a trade show called SEMA. Now, SEMA is the Specialty Equipment Manufacturers or Marketing Association trade show every year in Las Vegas. You've seen a million videos on it. I've done quite a few videos on it. It's, you know, people like to think it's a big car show. It really isn't. It's an industry trade show. Manufacturers go there, set up. Customers come by that are wholesale and installer, retailer, jobber type customers. They will attend those events and you know, look at all the new products and, you know, talk business for the coming year. Well, in December, which was typically about a week from now, there's another trade show that happens in Indianapolis that is strictly race car parts. Literally race car parts. That's it. There's no truck accessories there. There's no blingy tires and wheels. There's no LED lighting. Well, there's a little bit, but it's just more race car centric. And that show is literally the best one of the year. If you're a performance or a race guy, now I've done a couple of videos on that show before, and a couple of live streams, and I don't think I put together an actual video. Most of them have been live streams. Yeah, no, that's the factory gasket. So I don't think this has been rebuilt before. Doesn't look like it. But anyway, that PRI trade show is literally one of the better ones out there as far as the industry goes. SEMA gets all the attention because it draws all the celebrities, you know, the Vin Diesels of the world and actors and, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. PRI attracts all the racers. So John Force, Mario Andretti, you name it. If it's a drag racer, dirt track racer, whatever, those are the folks that attend PRI. So if you look at some of my, I think I have a PRI playlist where you can see some of those videos. Check that out for sure, because it'll give you an indication of what the industry does, and, you know, not all the truck stuff, and, you know, all the street outlaw guys are there. I guess they do SEMA as well, but SEMA is more of a, you know, meet and greet and signing autographs and crap like that. But PRI is more of a, you know, it's more of a racer's deal. So, and it's big. I mean, it fills the entire Indianapolis Convention Center, and I think, well, they used to do it right there on the floor of the whatever dome that the Colts played at, but it's when they moved and built that new Lucas Oil Stadium there, it's changed a little bit. Now they do like a, you know, pre-show party there with the, you know, right on the field floor, I guess. But anyway, check out the PRI stuff because it's cool. If you're into the race car stuff at all, that's the one you want to check out for sure. Oh. Well, so we get that cracked apart without hitting it. Guess not. Anyway, check out that one for sure. But the PRI stuff is, like I said, that's the really good trade show of the year, and every performance manufacturer is there. Even manufacturers that don't attend SEMA will attend that show. So it's pretty remarkable, actually. And you know, if you haven't seen any of those videos, for sure check them out. I've got a few of them, and like I say, there's tons of them out there from other folks. So PRI's the good one. SEMA's just kind of the one that gets all the media attention. But oddly enough, about 4 or 5 years ago, SEMA bought the PRI show from the promoter. So. One other thing too I was going to mention is just about a year ago, I was getting home from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, after a very long, very, very cool event there. And I did a live stream from there, and I did a really cool video. That was a pretty amazing deal. If you like any of the exotics, there was a ton of exotics there. 20 or 30 Veyrons, every Lamborghini you could ever think of, you know, Paganis. It was amazing. And it was certainly a very cool event to be at. But that was right at a year ago. And, again, another cool event, another cool video. So for sure you haven't seen that one, which not really many people saw that one. don't remember how many views it got, but it wasn't a heck of a lot. But that's a really cool event, so definitely check that video out. It certainly was a heck of a lot of fun, that's for sure. So yeah, I don't think this has been into before. It'll be good. This will be an easy rebuild. So anyway, I didn't have many questions. One question that I did have. I hate hitting these with a hammer, but this one's gonna need it for sure. I said you can usually tap that one and be okay. Let's see if we can get it to break loose without. There we go. Yeah, that one's kind of, you can see the fuel line. I don't know if you can see that in there. See where the fuel line was at. And that is mostly because of the ethanol. You got that powdery substance of crap on there. I don't know if you can see that at all, where the fuel line is. Fuel line's right here. And it's not bad, but it's just the ethanol starting to eat things away. So, but bouncing again back to the PRI, since I'm all over the place today. I can't concentrate on one thing, I guess. But PRI is easily my favorite event. I love SEMA. I've done it for 20 years. And PRI I haven't done as many because there's some years where I couldn't go. But PRI for sure is my favorite one. It's all the fun stuff. It's all the race car stuff and just all the cooler. Oh, that thing's kind of stiff. That's the ethanol getting to it. That thing should be very, very pliable, very, very easy, and it's not. So, it's certainly the ethanol getting to it. But anyway, if you got any questions, don't hesitate to ask them here. I do not mind answering the questions today on anything, whether it's carburetor stuff, tuning, how the Chevelle's going, how much you hate the wintertime, like pretty much I do. Yeah, it's not deteriorated at all, but yeah. There's some little issues in there, but like I say, it's all good. It's just ethanol. I mean, it's like I said, it's the crappy fuel that we have to deal with in different parts of the country. I lived in the Pacific Northwest for quite a few years, and the fuel there was absolutely worse. So if you're living in the Seattle, Spokane, down near Portland, I feel for you. Your fuel's horrible. It's garbage. But here in the Mid-South, it's not that bad. Let's see how that. Elan seat's another one to check on the Holley. You know, if like I said, this one hasn't been running in a while, but if you got any garbage you can see down in there where the needle seats up to the body of it to stop the fuel flow. This one doesn't look too bad, but it's definitely gotten some garbage in there. But again, that's because of the ethanol. It's very caustic in nature, and it attracts a lot of crap, and you need a good additive to roll through there. That's why I like that driven carb defender. It works really well. It doesn't change the properties of the ethanol, but what it does do is it keeps it all moving through the system, and that's certainly a big deal when you're working with ethanol. So all right, we'll get that float out of there and see how she looks. But forget what I was talking about. Oh, I guess it was a question that I was asked. One of the guys on Reddit. Sorry, I didn't write your name down. I typically write down names and questions, but I had so few this week that I didn't really write them down. I just kind of remembered them, sort of, as I'm struggling to remember what the heck they were. But the question was, why did I go with a big block and a T56 and a Chevelle? And the reason is this. One, I love the T56. The El Camino had a T56 going in. I love that ability to, you know, cruise down the highway at, you know, 80 miles per hour at 2,000, 2,100 RPM. That's what gets you all your fuel economy. And I did a really, really good video on fuel economy in a muscle car. And that's how you get it, is by, you know, lowering the RPMs. It's not by anything magical. It's not by having a really good, you know, efficient engine. It's part of it, but the majority of it is, or the big part of it is in the transmission. So for sure, if you're looking for fuel economy, that's part of the reason why the Chevelle is getting a T56, is I wanted that that 0.50 overdrive in it, because that's what will lower the operating RPM down. So the reason why it's getting a big block is a couple of different reasons. I have an LS for it. It's had an LS in it before, and I enjoyed the heck out of it, but I sold it to pay for a move from Kansas City up to the Northwest, and the intent was to put an LS back in it, but quite honestly, I wanted to put a big block back in it for one more time, I guess, running it. Let me see if I can get a rag, because I'd like you guys to see that. So I like to play with one more big block. I wanted to do another 4.7 swap engine, or an LS1 firing order, and I chose to do the 4.7 swap, mainly because it was the cam core that I could get a hold of. And right now, with everything as it is, cam cores, push rods, lifters, I'm sure if you've tried to order anything for anything you're building, you've gotten that dreaded B word, back order, and I didn't have an LS1 firing order core, so 4.7 swap it is, and no big deal. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the remnants of the garbage ethanol and, you know, what was in that float bowl. So not bad. I mean, it hasn't started to eat away at the finish, the silver finish, and that's good. There's no pitting, there's no really chunky stuff in here, so, you know, filters were good, I guess, and not bad. So all good, but anyway, it's good to clean it up. Like I said, I'll be using it on the Chevelle, and figured what the hell. So, but yeah. But anyway, so that's part of the reason why that's getting the big block and the T56. And quite honestly, I did have people vote on that not long ago, and you all chose the big block, so I'm pretty happy about that, because quite honestly, if they would have chosen the LS, or you all would have chosen the LS, I would have put another LS back in it. But big block's fun, and I'm looking forward to doing another one. It's been probably 15 years since I did a big block, so that'll be fun. You can really tell the fuel discoloration. Pretty much everything on these rides below that bar that goes across there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can really see that discoloration in there. Maybe it doesn't show up very well, but this will pick it up for sure. But yeah, like I said, it was just a little grungy, but yeah, like I said, the LS was something I've done in the past, enjoyed the heck out of it, but I'm going to enjoy playing with the big block one more time. Yeah, it'll give me an opportunity to shoot some video on stuff that, 15 years ago I would have never thought about doing a YouTube video on anything. So for that, I'm going to have a little bit of fun with it. And show you guys some on-engine tuning. We may take it to the dyno. Got a good guy about an hour away from here that I use for some dyno work. 85s in the back of that thing. Oh, wait a minute. I don't remember what we had in the front. Typically, rule of thumb, you'll hear people tell you that you want to go about 6. So if you're running an 80 in the front, you're running 87 in the back, that's about the biggest split, 6 jet sizes. And yeah, so it's a 71 and an 85. Now I've done that quite a bit in the past. It just really depends on what the engine wants. And when you're tuning, especially tuning seat of the pants stuff, it's quite all right to to break that rule and to not go that 6 to 8 steps between the front and the back of the carburetor. I get it, you're trying to balance it out, but this one clearly follows. As a matter of fact, this one may have been one that I tuned with a 71 and an 85. That is a bit of a spread, but anyway. One little thing here on the needle and seat, or the idle mixture screws, is just like anything else. Get a little cork out of there. It's not in bad shape. It's like anything else, like we did on the Edelbrock carburetor. See if there's a any little ridge on there, and what that would be from is if you over tighten that idle mixture screw down in there too hard, sometimes it'll gall the face of the mixture screw, and you'll get a little bit of ridge on it. And I can tell you that the metering block is probably going to need to get replaced at some time, and to stop tweaking these down. The mixture screws, for whatever reason, people get really confused on them and think there's some magical thing to help your engine run right, and really it's just set them and grab a vacuum gauge, set it with a vacuum gauge, and yeah, you don't touch them that often, really. When you see people farting with them all the time, it's like, dude, the thing's set. You can go on to your real problem, what's either jets or squirters, and the cams on the carburetor, it's probably where you're going to be at. But for whatever reason, the idle mixture screws get all the attention. So this one doesn't have any little lip on it. So again, I know this carburetor fairly well because I bought it brand new, and I know the guy that had it, so or borrowed it from me here recently, and I know he doesn't torque things down like that. One little thing we'll cover at some point in time with a Holley is when you don't have the adjustable air bleeds in here, there are some things you can do with the bleeds on the metering block. But again, we covered that a little bit with the Edelbrock when I did that live stream. I don't remember how long ago that was, a month or 2 ago, and you got to be really careful with that, because you over drill that thing and you screw it up, well, you just turn your carburetor into junk. So let's see what squirters. 31 in the back, and then my guess it's probably the same in the front. Yep, 31 front and back. So another thing too is make sure when you're disassembling these, take those little stops out of the squirters. It's what stops the fuel flow. So anyway, it's really about as far as I need to break this one down. But no questions today. I'm a little surprised by that, but I haven't really looked to see how many people are on. There's 3 people in here now, so maybe y'all just didn't have anything. So anyway, let me get this cleaned up. I will probably do another video, maybe here in a week or two I'll do another live stream and we'll put it all back together. I'll clean it, you know, get her all scrubbed up and make sure she's good to go. So everything looks pretty good. I may replace the floats in these or dunk them in some fuel and see if I can recreate an issue he said he was having, but I don't know if that's entirely the case again, because that linkage is jacked up, and that can give you some false, certainly some false, you know, feedback if you're thinking that you got a dead spot or having some trouble with it. So yeah, this one's a little more pliable. I'm gonna guess this one's probably been replaced, but it looks like the one that comes in at factory. So this carburetor is maybe 7-8 years old, something like that. So I'm gonna assume that those are original. Get those little stoppers out of there. It's easier to sometimes just push it through from the other side and release that little nub in there, just kind of get it started, and you can pull it right through. Those are in good shape. So ethanol didn't destroy it too well. Looks like the floats are set pretty right on that one too. Yeah, anyway, in a week or two here, I'll maybe do another live stream. We'll put it back together, just show you a few things on the Edelbrock, or excuse me, on the Holley carburetor. Been working on too many Edelbrocks lately, I guess. And I don't really work on that many Holleys, to be very honest with you. It's not that I don't want to, but you know, there's hundreds of guys out there that'll work on a Holley carburetor. Some very well, some not at all. And I just found my niche, I guess, in the Edelbrock side of things, so I've stuck with it. And it's like anything else. Carburetors are situational. They're not, you know, it's not one size fits all. You know, one carburetor doesn't rule the world. You know, it's like asking what's the best camshaft for a small block Chevy. Well, I don't know. There's probably 5,000 different grinds out there of cams, so pick one. So it's like anything else, matching it up to what you're working on, and that's what a carburetor does too. You know, there is no best carburetor for anything. So you have to just kind of get the one you need for what you're working on. And sometimes it's the Holley all day long, and sometimes it's the Edelbrock. So anyway, like I said, this one doesn't look too bad. And we'll do another video on this one, I guess, when we do the reassembly of it. Check out that needle and seat. It doesn't look too bad either. So it's got a little bit of crap in there. I don't know if you can see that. Some of that came out of there. Not much of it though. So all in all, it's in good shape. So like I say, the ethanol is going to destroy a lot of that. So just have to be careful of that as you're using a carburetor. So, and even fuel injection stuff is a lot better with that. That retaining screw on that float is a little gunky. That's the other problem with dealing with pot metal or these aluminized, you know, type carburetor bodies is you can really screw them up quickly if you put in a screw or you know, a little bolt in there wrong and get it cross threaded a little bit. Don't ever force anything. That's why, like I said, I've got the screw gun out there, but I very rarely use it, just simply because I'll sometimes use it on disassembly if it's something that had a part before, but on disassembly on something that I haven't touched in quite a while, like this, I'd never use it. Anyway, again, I want to tell you about that Pri Road Tour. That was a cool deal. They said I came through town and got a chance to talk to those folks for a few minutes. PRI is my favorite. SEMA always, like I said, it gets all the attention, but PRI is the better trade show. So, at least for me, anyway. Okay. Well, he was having some flooding issues, he said, and he couldn't get it right, so we'll soak these in some fuel and see if they take on fuel in the float. And sometimes you can hear it if it gets any garbage in there, but we'll see if it's got a pinhole in it and go from there. So anyway, that is pretty much all I had for you today. I was just going to answer some questions, but y'all are pretty quiet. So I'm going to get this thing to soaking and get it cleaned up. I will probably replace the cams on here. They're in the right spot. They're in the #1 spot on both of them. So I don't know how much he adjusted them. Those look like the factory cams that are on there to adjust the time of when the squirter goes in. It doesn't really add volume to it. It just says when it throws the fuel in there. So yeah, got a few little issues, but it was leaking a little bit. You could tell here from that secondary, which is not uncommon on the Holley. They tend to leak a little bit more fuel because they dump a lot more fuel. But don't feel a lot of extra play in. I think it's just normal Holleys being Holleys. So anyway, we'll get all that cleaned up and let's see if you got any questions here. Nothing, not a single doggone question. All right, well, I answered the one on why I put why there's a big block in the T56 going in the car. It's literally sitting right behind me, so hopefully in the next week or two I'll get back on that. I gotta get that engine to a machine shop. I'd like to do that before the end of the year, but I have a feeling it's going to be January because I don't have pistons for it yet. They are on back order. So I tend to use Molle pistons in quite a few things. I like the material and for a street-driven engine and a drag racing engine. You know, some of the other ones get more press, but Molle is an OE level supplier, and they certainly build a very good piston. So that's what's going in there. And just have to wait for them to be done. So very, very simple. You know, 460 cubic inch engine, which I think is a 30 over 454. So anyway, I think that'll do it. Like I said, no questions. So let's see if I guess Skip is still in there, but anyway, there's 5 of you watching. So anyway, if you got any questions, I guess you can leave them down below, and I'll certainly get back to them at some point. But I do appreciate it. Appreciate you watching, and you know, certainly all the you know, the comments, and you know, I certainly like helping folks figure things out, and sometimes that's a little hard doing that over the internet instead of face to face. But you know, I'm certainly do enjoy doing that, and hopefully it's helped out a few people get some things right. So anyway, I guess, yeah, no comments. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off here and get this thing soaking, and I guess we will catch you guys on the next one. Trying to think what video is coming next week, but I got a couple that I put together. So anyway, I've had some time. I had like 5-6 days off here in a row, and I've got about 17-18 days off at Christmas time. So I'm going to try to spend some time in the garage and get some stuff done. So anyway, I will catch you guys later. And yeah, like I said, no comments. I'm just a little surprised by that. Usually y'all are pretty chatty in here on these things. So I guess it's the wrong time on a Sunday, or y'all are watching football, which is what I'm heading up to do here in just a minute. So see if my Patrick Mahomes and my Chiefs can slap Tom Brady around one more time. So anyway, I guess that's it. I will catch you all later. And again, thanks for watching. And again, if you got any comments, leave them down below. And any questions on the Holley stuff, I'll try to answer them the best I can. And yeah, I guess we will catch you all for next week's video. We'll see y'all later. See ya.